On a mysterious winter night, as heavy rain fell, lightning and thunder gathered in the city sky. In an old hospital, Dr. Mark and Dr. Sarah were working in the morgue on a new case, the body of a woman who had been found under mysterious circumstances. Mark says,
"Sarah, do you see what I see? These wounds are not normal. They look like they were from a sharp weapon, but they are arranged in a strange way."
Sarah says,
"Yes, Mark. This is not just an accident. There is something suspicious here. Let's start a closer examination."
The duo began to dissect the body, and as they worked, the evidence began to unfold before their eyes. They discovered that the wounds were strangely parallel, as if the person who committed the crime had medical knowledge. Mark says,
"Do you think the perpetrator could be a doctor? The way the dissection was done shows a thorough knowledge of human anatomy."
Sarah says,
"It is very possible. But why? What was the motive?"
They continued to examine the body and found small injection marks in different places on her body. They took a blood sample and analyzed it, discovering the presence of rare anesthetics used in surgical operations. Mark says,
"Look, this substance renders the person unable to move but remains conscious. This means that the victim was aware of what was happening to her but could not resist."
Sarah says,
"This is horrible. The person who did this enjoyed torturing his victim."
Mark says,
"This killer is not only knowledgeable about anatomy, but he is also a sadist who enjoys torturing his victims. He used electric shocks to enhance the pain."
They moved on to examine the head and found a large bruise on the back of the head, indicating that the victim had been severely beaten. Sarah says,
"This was probably to restrict her movement before he started torturing her."
As they examined the body, they found a small piece of paper tucked between the folds of skin. Layla opened the paper and read in a trembling voice, "Everything you see is just the beginning. If you want to know the truth, come to the address listed on this paper." Mark says,
"Could this be a trap?"
Sarah says,
"Maybe, but we have no choice. We have to find out the truth."
The duo decide to venture to the mentioned address. The dark corridors increase their sense of mystery and danger. They arrive at an abandoned building, carefully opening the door to find themselves in a room full of old files and photos. Mark says,
"Look, these photos show the same wounds on different victims."
Sarah says,
"That means there is a serial killer. But how did he get away for so long?"
As they browse through the files, they hear footsteps approaching. Their blood freezes. A man in a white coat enters, a mysterious smile on his face. The killer says,
"Welcome to my world. I am Dr. Jack, and the game has just begun."
Mark says in surprise,
"Jack, you were working with us at the hospital. How did we not notice?"
Jack says,
"You were so busy saving lives that you did not notice the monster next to you."
Mark and Sarah realize that they have a big challenge ahead of them. They have to stop Jack before more victims fall. As they prepared to face him, they knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were ready for an adventure like they'd never experienced before.